What if I told you that vibrant, truly unstoppable health isn't just some lucky genetic lottery? What if instead it's a deliberate, totally counterintuitive blueprint that you can actually follow step by step? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unlocking an absolute masterclass in self-improvement and personal growth. Seriously, I want you to forget everything you've been taught about, crazy diet fads or endless punishing workout routines. The insights we're about to explore here offer a radically different approach. We're talking about a system where your physical vitality is literally engineered from the inside out. So, if you've been searching for the ultimate playbook to elevate your life, well, you're in exactly the right place.
Think about this for a second. What if vibrant health was achieved exactly like financial success? I know it sounds wild, right? It completely challenges everything we usually think about getting healthy. But back in 1910, a visionary named Wallace D. Wattles wrote a super famous book on wealth creation. And then he followed it up with something even more profound for our physical well-being. He basically proposed that health, much like financial success, isn't just some happy accident. No, it's obtained and sustained when you think and act in a highly specific way. The book summary we're unpacking today contains his really revolutionary core idea, that wellness is literally a science. It's an absolute principle of life that literally anyone can master.
Okay, let's dive into this. Wallace D. Wattles writes something that just blows my mind. The natural state of man is a state of perfect health, and everything in him and nature tends toward health. I mean, wow, that is a massive paradigm shift. Sickness is actually the unnatural state. Nature is constantly, relentlessly fighting to heal you, to repair you, and to push you right back toward perfect vitality. Your baseline, your absolute default setting, it's perfect health.
Section 1. The Principle of Health.
Now look, we aren't going to treat this 1910 text as some dusty, boring medical manual. No way. We're treating it as a high-stakes playbook for absolute success. Because if your natural state is health, then the principle of health is this active, powerful engine inside you driving that process. Our goal isn't to somehow create health from scratch. It's simply to stop getting in the way of this natural principle. Achieving health is a deliberate science. It requires thinking and acting in a certain way. It sounds simple enough, but honestly, it's incredibly demanding. It means stepping completely off autopilot. The central message of this entire philosophy is that excellent health isn't just about what you do for an hour at the gym. It's a conscious, deliberate mastery of your everyday thoughts and your everyday actions. It is all about aligning your entire being with that natural tendency toward wellness.
Section 2. Thinking in a certain way.
So, how do we actually begin this process? Well, Wallace D. Wattles insists that action always precedes thought. So we absolutely must get our mindset right first. If you want to change your body, you've got to start with the blueprint. And that blueprint is drawn directly in your mind. And this brilliantly illustrates the profound dynamic between your two selves, the mind-body and the physical body. According to Wattles, your mind-body takes form exactly as you think of yourself. Any thought you hold continuously in your mind-body is eventually made visible, literally transforming the physical body into its exact image. It's like a giant mirror. If you implant the thought of perfect functioning into your mind-body and you spend sufficient time really contemplating this image to make it your habitual thought, well, in due time, it will cause ideal functioning in your physical body. Simply put, you have to literally see yourself as well before you can actually be well.
To understand how this mind-body connection works practically, we really have to look at the two classes of functions in the body. On the one hand, you have involuntary functions, things like digestion, your heart rate, and cellular repair. These are entirely controlled by that natural principle of health we just talked about. They'll perform flawlessly as long as your mindset is right. On the other hand, we have voluntary functions: eating, drinking, breathing, and sleeping. These are entirely under your conscious control. So the deal is this: your job is to execute the voluntary functions perfectly and just let the principle of health handle all those involuntary ones.
But here's where most people completely miss the mark. They try to force their body to be healthy using sheer willpower. But true discipline means directing your will upon your mind, not your body. You use your willpower to determine exactly what you'll believe and what you give your attention to. You absolutely must reject thoughts of disease completely. And the ultimate tool for doing this? Gratitude. Gratitude is a massive, game-changing factor in attracting good health. Whenever your thoughts start to wander towards sickness or fear, you use your willpower to stop, count your blessings, and cast out that negativity. Gratitude literally helps you own and control your entire field of thought.
Section 3. Acting in a certain way.
Okay, now that we've got the mental framework locked in, we must transition into real-world application. Because just as vital as every thought must be an act of health,
every physical act must be performed healthily too. This is where the rubber finally meets the road. These are the 4 physical pillars, the specific voluntary functions we just discussed that you must execute flawlessly to guarantee your vitality: eating, drinking, breathing, and sleeping. If you master these 4 deliberate actions, perfectly aligning them with the principle of health, you create an environment where sickness simply cannot thrive. Let's break them down.
First up is eating. And I gotta tell you, the rules here are strict but completely fascinating. You must eat only when you are genuinely hungry, never when you aren't. And here's a highly controversial take from Wattles. He argues that earned hunger comes strictly from physical or mental work, not from sleeping. Therefore, eating a heavy morning meal is totally inappropriate because, well, you haven't earned the hunger yet. He actually suggests eating at noon. Yes, Wattles was essentially an original champion of skipping breakfast, like over a century before intermittent fasting became a huge trend. You should eat the staple foods of your local climate zone, chew every single mouthful until it's a liquid, maintain absolute focus on your meal, and, crucially, stop eating the exact second your hunger begins to decrease.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the profound distinction it makes between hunger and appetite. Understanding this difference is honestly one of the greatest life lessons for personal growth you'll ever come across. Hunger is the true call of your subconscious mind. It's a legitimate demand for materials to repair and renew the body. Appetite, on the flip side, is a dangerous desire for the mere gratification of sensation. You know that craving for sweets when you're already completely full? That's appetite. Wattles bluntly states that indigestion is basically never caused by satisfying true hunger. It is always caused by eating to gratify an appetite.
Next up is drinking. And the rule here is rigidly, brutally scientific. Drink nothing but water, drink whenever you are truly thirsty, and stop as soon as your thirst begins to decrease. Wattles explicitly warns against the soda fountain habit, drinking merely to tickle your palate with sweet-flavored liquids. If you obey the simple rule of drinking water the moment you feel a minor thirst, you'll actually completely lose the inclination for unnatural sugary drinks. Thirst is nature's signal, pure and simple, and water is nature's only required answer. The third pillar is breathing. Now, this isn't just about taking in oxygen to survive. It's a deliberate exercise to keep your chest full, flexible, and robust. The habit is simple, but it definitely requires conscious effort. Straighten up, fill your lungs absolutely full, stretch your chest and spine, and then exhale quickly. You must repeat this exercise out of season, at all times, until it literally becomes second nature. The golden rule here is, whenever you step outdoors into fresh, pure air, you breathe deeply. No matter what you're doing, straighten up and breathe.
The final physical pillar is sleep. And listen, sleep is not just rest. It's this profound biological connection to nature where we come into direct contact with the principle of life so our bodies can be fully renewed. To maximize this, Wattles insists you absolutely must not take halfway measures with your air quality. You need to ventilate your bedroom so thoroughly that it is practically the exact same as sleeping outdoors. And to get the maximum renewal out of your slumber, make sure to practice deep gratitude for the day and deliberately count your blessings right before you drift off to sleep.
Section 4, Applying the Health Playbook. Let's move to and see how this builds into our daily routines.
Because, it's one thing to understand a text from 1910, but how do these key ideas actually translate into your life right now? How do we take this historical framework for success and use it to navigate the pure chaos of the 21st century? Well, think about how often we eat while endlessly scrolling on our phones or stressing over work emails. Wattles says if your mind wanders from the table, you'll chew less and swallow fast, which inevitably leads to ill health. You've got to maintain absolute focus during meals. Also, in a world absolutely packed with ultra-processed foods, learning to distinguish an emotional appetite from true physical hunger is basically a superpower for weight management and daily energy. And finally, when you're facing stress, stop trying to force your body to feel a certain way. Apply your willpower strictly to your focus and mindset instead. Choose to focus on health and gratitude, and trust me, let your body follow your mind.
Section 5, the ultimate key takeaways. Wow. Okay, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today, merging the incredible power of the mind with strict physical discipline. Here are the 6 main lessons to lock into your brain. First, remember that perfect health is your natural default state. Second, you must form an unwavering mental image of your own wellness. Third, eat only with a genuine earned hunger. Fourth, never ever eat merely to gratify an appetite or a random craving. Fifth, direct your willpower exclusively on your mind and beliefs, not your physical body.
And sixth, practice radical gratitude to cast out sickness. In the Science of Being Well summary we've explored today, we've honestly uncovered an elite manual for lasting physical success. It's not just about getting healthy, it's a profound, life-changing framework for total personal growth.
I want to leave you with this final, incredibly powerful directive from Wallace D. Wattles. Make yourself one with health in thought, word, and action. Do not connect yourself with sickness in absolutely anything you do or say. You have the blueprint now. The voluntary actions are entirely yours to control. The mindset is yours to forge. So the only real question left to ask yourself today is this: are your daily actions engineering a masterpiece of vitality, or are you just letting your appetite for distraction destroy your natural perfection? The choice, as always, is entirely in your mind. See you next time on The Explainer.